Hey there, Heather Ho there, Jim Cutter Guy. Welcome you to yet another Stone Cold Hockey video. We finished the 72-73 WHA season. Now for the second WHA season I have for Stone Cold Hockey. It's 1973-74, the second season in WHA history. You see 12 teams. You see some shifts. Here's the big shifts. First of all, the New Jersey. There's a team called the New Jersey Knights. New York moved their team to New Jersey to become the Knights. They played in Cherry Hills, New Jersey, in an arena that had a massive dip in it. Kid you not. You have New England, the New England Whalers, a legendary team that would go to NHL by expansion. Cleveland's back, the Cleveland Crusaders, bringing hockey in Cleveland, of course, a few years before the NHL brought hockey to Cleveland with the Barons. The Quebec Nordiques are in town. They are doing quite well. The Railsley Frankville team that went to the NHL as part of the expansion in 1979. The Chicago Cougars moved from the West to the East Division this time. They're doing their job. And the Toronto Maple Leafs, well, actually, the Toronto Toros are in the East. The Toros moved from Ottawa. So Ottawa actually had some problems booking playoff games at their own arena and had to play games in Toronto. So they decided to stay in Toronto at Varsity Arena. The West, you have Edmonton. They used to be called the Alberta Oilers, but it was kind of weird when all the games were in Edmonton. Like there were no games in Calgary. The Houston Aeros, legendary team. I think this was the year the Howls came in. Los Angeles, the Sharks still around from the previous season. Minnesota Fighting Saints still around, despite the fact that the Sharks had the Kings franchise to worry about, the Toros having the Leafs to worry about, the Cougars having the Blackhawks to worry about for fan stuff, and Minnesota with the North Stars fans. Vancouver comes in, the Vancouver Blazers. The big move is that Philadelphia does not have their WHA team anymore. They moved to Vancouver, and Brady Perrott went back to the NHL to play for the Philadelphia Flyers, and they won the Stanley Cup that year. Vancouver getting the Blazers despite the fact that they had an NHL team. And the Winnipeg Jets are around, 1979. So the rule is we will play. Well, Saturday is New Jersey and Cleveland. So we will start our coverage of New Jersey and Cleveland. You might as well. First game of the second season and the first game in New Jersey Knights history. Gary Kurt versus Jerry Cheevers in that New Jersey with Kurt being the backup to Joe Junkin and Jim McLeod. Cleveland with Jerry Cheevers and Bob Whitten just like last year. The Knights start Andre Lacroix. Man, the guy from San Diego. I mean, I forget where Lacroix played. Yeah, he played for the Philadelphia Flyers. Now he plays for the Knights. Lacroix, a big WHA icon. Kevin Morrison, Wayne Rivers, Gene Pakosh, Brian Morantz, Ken Block. A lot of these guys moved from New York to New Jersey. Bob Jones, Mike Lawton, Brian Bradley, not the NHLer. Norm Ferguson, Don Harriman, Brian Perry, Harry Howe in the WHA. Shocking. The legendary defenseman for the Rangers and Golden Seals decided to play in the WHA. Bobby Sheehan, the former habitant. Bob Brown, Craig Rickman, Gary Peters, Ted Scarf, future exec for the Kitchener Rangers, Dean Boylan, Bill Spear, Bob Winograd, and Ray Rose. Cleveland with Gary Jarrett still around, Jim West, Jerry Pinder, Skip Craik still around, Grant Erickson, Ron Buchanan, Paul Schmier, future North Star, Tom Uter, Ray Clearwater around, Paul Andrea, former Penguin still around, Russ Walker, Larry Hillman, legendary player who played for 5 of the 6 original 6 teams in his career. Doug Brentley, Bob Hadel, Robbie Neal, Bill Young, Wayne Merlin, Norm Cornway, Wayne Hillman, Rich Pumple, Ted Hutchin, Rap Happy, and Ron Morgan. All right, first period. 3 minutes into the game. Cleveland scores the first goal of the new season. 2 minutes later. Hit. 4 minutes later. No shot from Bradley. Final minute. Cleveland had Robbie Neal. Oh, stomach hurt. Robbie Neal had it. Gets Dishes. Good fate. With the Henrik Erickson in Cleveland. A few minutes later, Cleveland. Third the season goes to Cleveland. It's Paul Schmier. And the night skill or pop-up power play goal, the first goal in the Knights era. Brian Katy Perry on that. He will roar from Brian Morenz and Bobby Jones. A few minutes later. Driving a major on Cleveland, and it's Malloy. There's two for the chance to tie it. No. Power play skills. Pop-up power play goal. On the Rivers Quay, Wayne Rivers, that is. He scores from Lawton, and Bobby Jones gets his second assist. 2-2. It's a 5-minute power play, so they can score as many times as they want. Yeah, let's go once. Pressure. Their first penalty. It's Boylan. Jarrett and Hillman can't do anything about it. New Jersey. Prakash tried. Unfortunately, there was a hit. Much later. Finally, on the Knights, it is going to go to Ted Scarf. Cleveland has Pinder. Oh, stop by Kurt. After 40 minutes. 3 more minutes. A chance for Ferguson? No. Much later. Cleveland. Much later. Ader trying to score again? No. Cleveland. And it's Ader. Chance for the night skewer. Up a power play goal. Katy Perry, his second of the night from Ferguson and Lawton. We're getting close. Empty net, no. Empty net split? No. Empty net split? No. Buzzing by Cleveland manages to win 4-3. Jerry Cheevers does get the win after all. Jersey tied it, yeah. Cleveland goes by Jarrett, Craig, Clearwater, and Schmiel. New Jersey goes by Perry, Rivers, and Perry. Cleveland wins 4-3. Later on, we have ourselves New England, Quebec, and Chicago, Toronto. Going toe to toe. New England, Quebec, Letters Nordiques. We have Bruce Landon and Michel Deguise in the nets. Bruce Landon, the backup to Al Smith, Bill Berglund had it sometime. The Nordiques of 74, King Richard Berdure being his main goalie. Serge Aubry down to third straight, and Michel Deguise in the middle. So I think those it was a 3 goalie list, because look at the Berdure had 34 on the starts list, Deguise 33, and Serge Aubry 32. The Whalers have John French, Tom Webster, who went off on attention in the playoffs, future NHL coach, Larry Plow, former Hab, Al Carlander, former Red Wing, Don Blackburn, who would do well with the Whalers in their history, Tim Sheehy, Tommy Williams, at a time when he would have been one of a handful of WHA NHLers born in America, Hugh Hewitt, Mike Byers, Jim Dory from relief, Rick Lee from relief, Brad Selwood from relief, Ted Green still around with the New England Whalers. Of course, he was with Boston, won a few cups, and of course got himself hurt thanks to that stick swinging incident with Wayne Mackey. Tom Riddle, Paul Hurley, John Cuniff, Bob Charlebois, Guy Smith, John Danby, and Rick Jordan. And basically, the Nordiques go with a French connection. Serge Bernier, Bobby Gooden, Andre Godet, Réjean Houle, man, former Hab Peanut, Michel Pariseau, Jean Gilbert, J.C. Tremblay, former Hab, Guy Dufour, Alain Caron, Rene Leclerc, Dale Hoganson, Alan Barilla, Francis Lacombe, former SEAL, Pierre Guite, Shangi Gendron, Jean Piet, Ken Desjardins, Réjean Giroux, Pierre Waugh, Norm Discatu, and Michel Rouleau. 6 minutes into the game. Six minutes per two. 20 minutes per two. Johnson and score. The Whalers scored. John Blackburn. Well, what do you do with red? Anyway, Dory and Green with the assist. 4 minutes later. Back home for the Chevalier. The saison, Bernier l'assist. Yeah, Lacombe for your hair. Haha. Weather skier Hugh Hefner Harris scores to tie the game. Plow and Jihi with the assist. Much later. Canada Day New England is Carlander. No shot by Godet. Jean Gilbert. Trois de Quebec. Much later. English skiers. Webster. There comes Webster. I don't know the theme song. From Blackburn makes it 3-3. Back with sisters Tremblay et Defoe. Much later. And along comes Webster, his second of the night from Dory and Selwood. We have a 4-4 tie. As we go into period number 3. Unreal. This game's going back and forth. 5 more minutes. It's for Quebec Guite. No. 3 minutes later. Quebec another chance. Devore. No. Another skier. Duke of Earl. Ooh, Duke of Earl. Tom Earl, that is. Jim Dory, his third assist of the night. Mike Byers with another assist, too. Much later. Skiers. Larry Plow. Called Mr. Plow. That's my name. That name again is Mr. Plow. He scores for Sheehy and Carlander with the assists. 6-4. Looks good for New England. Empty net, nothing. Scores from the it's over. The score is 6-5. It was a close game. 11 goals were scored in that game, but New England survives that. Man, it was tough sailing. Quebec actually was winning 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, and 4-3, but just couldn't pull it together. Only one penalty. Finally, we have Chicago and Toronto. The Toronto Toros with Gratuity the Looney in that against Andre Gill. Cam Newton, not the former Carolina/New England quarterback, is your main guy, Rich Coutu. Jules Breton, number 1. Les Binkley, the former Penguin. The 2 goalie, Frank. Love the 3 goalie. Chicago having Ralph Backstrom. That was a big move that Ralph Backstrom ended up leaving the NHL with the Habs and Kings and going to the WHA. Of course, Backstrom was famously traded from Montreal to LA so that LA could finish ahead of the Golden Seals in the 1971 season to get the number 1 draft pick. Rosie Paymon, the former NHL washout who needed a hypnotist to help him out. Joe Hardy, not from the Hardy Boys. Pat Stapleton, former Hawk icon. Larry Mafferty, Bob Lidington, Bob Szynski, Jan Pepil, Bobby Whitlock, Rick Morris, Duke Harris, Daryl Meggs, Frank Rochon, Dick Proficat, Ron Zane, Reggie Fleming, the first NHL to be hit with CTE, Brian Coates, Jim Benzelak, Eric Nesterenko, a former Blackhawk, and Brian Glenray and John Spiel. The Toros. with Wayne Carlton playing for River. Gavin Kirk, the guy with the that corn cob charm. Wayne Dillon, Guy Trottier playing. Dick Census, Tom Merton, Pat Hickey, who's soon gone to much better things in the NHL with the Rangers. Pat Hickey. Tom Simpson, Bobby LeDuc, Steve King, Brian Gibbons, Brett Selby, the former Calder Trophy winner for the Leafs, Jack Gibson, Carl Brewer even decided to play in the WHA, the longtime Leaf. Steve Cuttlefish, Rick Cunningham, Billy Orr, no relation to Bobby, Mike Abadale, Gerald Gibbons, Peter Marin, and Lou Listico. The game's goes on. Chicago takes their hat skill. The many man of Coates, Brian Coates, that is, he scores from Max and Duke 1-0. Four minutes later, Papil, no. Gibson. Chicago Skiers, pop power play go. Daryl Maggs. Mags Muggs. He scores from Backstrom and Maverick. He makes it 2-0 Chicago. Leave it there. Chicago, Mags. Wayne Carlton makes it 2-1. And that will do it for 20 minutes of action. Much later. By the chance, Rosie Paymont stopped by Shill's Graton. Will hit. With that, Chicago takes a chance by Liddington. Toronto will get the penalty. It will be Cunningham. The Jet Skiers. Pop power play go. Frank Rochon. Ferrero Rochon. He scores from Rosie Paymont and Pat Stapleton. Much later. No chance. Leduc save by Andre. And PK Rochon. He just scored. I tried to get but they steal Carlton from Amadeo and Trottier makes it 3-2. 5 more minutes. We have a fight between Rosie Paymont and Brian Gibbons. The Toros did well. They got Rosie Paymont to fight, and he's a good player. Aggression. It will be Gibson. They capitalize. They do. Power play goes. Duke of Earl. Duke of Earl. The real one from Linnington and Whitlock. Now empty net. And that's it. The Cougars win 4-3. It was a close one. Toronto thought they had it. A comeback for the ages. But no, Duke Harris says, not today, man. Chicago goes by Coates, Meggs, Rochon and Harris. Toronto goes by Trottier, Carlton, and Hickey. So the rules are the Saturday, so we will move up on days. September 9th. Winnipeg, Vancouver for their first game. Winnipeg beats Vancouver. Edmonton's first game of the year, they lose. Minnesota's first game of the lose, they lose. Okay. We will keep our eyeballs on Houston, LA on the 13th. October the 13th. Quebec beats Cleveland. And Chicago beats New England. So, yeah, Houston, LA will have that matchup for you next time. Anyhow, Jeff Diamond, adieu.